So this is my first chance from being at this prison that I can now get in the mix. You can't really make moves like that depending on how you're positioned in the prison. Because if you got a dorm job, COs are always watching you. The guys can always see you. Certain jobs are just more supervision. This was the spot. Staff dining, like I said, no cameras. You can make moves. You can have conversations, real conversations with the staff there, without them being, having the fear of being watched. Because a lot of COs and staff, they don't, they human. They just there to get a check. They not, you know what I'm saying. But if the major walk by or another CO that's an a-hole in there with them, of course they under pressure, so they gonna act crazy. But when you in staff dining, usually you just in there by yourself with them or maybe two other people or whatever, because they come in sporadically if they come down there at all. So I was able to start building rapport with different COs, nurses, staff members, etc. Get into my bed a little bit more. I didn't have to be around dudes all day. I was grateful. I was able to have conversations, with people that were going into the world and coming home. It made me feel a little bit more human and normal because I worked 5 days a week, from 8 to 5, and I was in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I was able to bid. Time was moving, and one day, a new kitchen supervisor came down there, and I ain't gonna lie. Immediately, I was like, "Oh yeah," and I don't know. I don't know. A young man, I just shot my shot. I think I had made a joke or something. She laughed, and man, I just seen it as an opening, not in a disrespectful way, but we just started having a conversation, and I was like, man, I might be able to, make something happen with her. But ironically enough, I remember my initial thoughts weren't for her to be a roller. I was like, man, she kind of fly. I just appreciate the conversation because this would be the first time that I had real conversation, interaction with a woman, um, since before I got locked up. Also, at the same time, I would say I realized how long I had been locked up, though only for a few years at this time. Um, it made me realize the difference between, where I was or how mature I was when I got locked up and now versus somebody that's continued to live on the outside and be free. So though we were the same age, the last time I had been in a relationship, my girlfriend was 18, I was 19. This is a grown woman. She's got real bills, real problems, real life. She's got kids. She's got a career. She's got all this. So, um, I don't know. I just looked at her different. I appreciated the interaction, and I didn't really want to mess it up. I didn't even want to gamble it. I wanted to just keep my job and staff down. If I could make something happen somewhere else with one of the other guards or something, cool. I was making money because I was down there stashing stuff for dudes, doing different things, whatnot. So I weren't really too pressed. We started rocking. It was good. It was being in a relationship with a woman while you're incarcerated. It's a rush, but at the same time, you're constantly looking over your shoulder, and you're not always looking over your shoulder for guards. Sometimes you're looking over your shoulder for the fellas, the dudes that's locked up with you. So it was always that paranoia, no different than when I had a cell phone in there. It was like that paranoia. I couldn't sleep every time I heard a noise. So every time we have a conversation, it was cool, but I'd always be waiting for somebody to open the door and come in the staff dining or somebody to walk up on us. And it was just, it was just a little crazy. But at the same time, I didn't want it to end. You know what I'm saying? I did think about the fact that she was at risk. I didn't want anything to happen to her, but I think at the time, just both our feelings, we didn't really care too much about that. I know, like, the only fail safe, I guess, or the way I felt like I could have protected her in that situation, because a lot of the guards as well as the fellas would constantly try to hit on her and crack jokes with her. And I used to tell her, yo, if one of them COs want to buy you a pop or something, like, just let them. Like, I ain't tripping. Like, don't let them know. Don't let anybody even get the vibe that you feeling me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not vice versa. I remember trying to tell her, like, don't come down here to staff dining. Like, stay in the other kitchen some days because I feel like they watching you. I'm paranoid. I don't know, but you're down here too much, and they're going to be wondering why you down here too much, and not with the guys feeding general population. Man, and one day, I found out later on after she told me she uh, had got into like an argument with one of the COs up, the lieutenants up there. He had made a joke or said something, and she rejected him. He got mad, they got into a back and forth, and he blurted out, he's like, man, I'm gonna get your ass out of here. I already know you messing with one of these inmates. When she told me that after the fact, it was really like, I'm thinking like, because you got to understand, the lieutenant was an a-hole, and he just thought that way because a lot of the guys were in relationships with women there, and she's pretty, so maybe he's just saying that to say it because he got rejected. But sure enough, the next day, they pulled her into an office, as she told me, and they basically told her, look, you need to tell us which one of the prisoners or inmates you're having a relationship with, or we're going to fire you. And she took door 3, or option C. She just walked out. She quit. They didn't know exactly who she was messing with. We found out that a couple of my nosy so-called homeboys behind there, they was running their mouth gossiping when they seen certain things. But they couldn't really pin it on me. So I didn't catch a charge or anything. And then she quit. So it's like they really couldn't do anything then. When she walked off, I remember the guards then starting to harass me. They was not feeling it. To the point that they actually put me in the hole for like 2 weeks under investigation, but they couldn't give me a charge. They couldn't prove it. When I came back out, they had to put me right back in the same pod I was in, but they wouldn't let me work in staff dining anymore. They killed that. And I remember the guys was like, yo, you know, to them, you a legend, bro. You was shorty. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, man, you know. But at the same time, in the moment, I was, you know, my heart was hurting because this was somebody I was talking to and bidding with, looking forward to seeing them every day. And now they walked her off the compound. I wasn't gonna see her no more. I don't have her phone number. She ain't got mine. She can't call inside the prison. So that was that. And I often sat and I wondered and I waited. I don't know, just if I'd ever hear from her again. And then, sure enough, one day, mail call. My cell partner, my brother, my ace, my right hand, he just started hollering, yo, bro, you got some mail. Because I wasn't really getting no mail like that. And I went up there and looked at the envelope, and I ain't recognize the name. I was like, who the heck is this? And I opened the letter and started reading.